So I wasn't going to read this based off of your reaction. And then I remembered you're the guy who didn't like Name of the Wind, so I'm starting it immediately. Hey, what's up, bookworms? Mike back with another weekly update. We're rolling on along through August here. We are thick in it in the middle of a Malazan read along, but there's been so much other stuff going on both on the channel and off, and we're going to talk about those things. Now, let's begin like usual, my friends, with what am I reading? Well, I did finish Billy Summers, a new Stephen King novel. Had lots of things to say about it. I only got 15 thumbs down at the time of recording this. I expected a lot more, because I did mention the P word. And no, it's not that P word. What are you listening to too much Prince or something? No, not that P word. The politics word. The politics. Politics. That's a fun word. Fun way to say it. Politics. For real, though, I don't talk about those things on the channel for a reason. And all you have to do is peruse the comments a little bit to see why. But that wasn't really all there was to talk about this book. There's plenty to talk about. And I think it's one that I was talking to Jaime from Horror Show, and he was kind of saying that like he's kind of like slept on it for a couple days, and he's feeling a little differently about it now. I kind of put it where I put it in that review. I say it's right there about with the Institute, that it's good, but it's nothing that I don't think the fandom's going to be talking about 5 years from now. And I mean, that's fine. I'll take good every time over a bad book. And I mean, it's not like this is like Elevation or something where I'm like, I don't even want to think about that book. No, this one's fine. I had a good time with it. It's one I could see easily be adaptable for like a streaming service movie or something like that, which, you know, at these days, man, it's Stephen King, before he's even released it, the film rights have been sold. So it might happen. It might happen, but I don't know. They said they were making The Institute like 3 years ago, and here we are. Has it been 3 years already? I think it's been 2 years. I don't know. Time flies when you're having fun, right? And believe it or not, guys, I have been having a lot of fun reading Midnight Tides. And I would say believe it or not, because apparently if you read the comments in any of my spoiler talks, you would think that I am miserable reading this series. Now, the spoiler talks are a snapshot, especially part one. That is a snapshot of how I feel at that time. If you know anything about Malazan books, guys, you know that it takes a little bit to get into them. The first halves are usually pretty slow because they're kind of setting up new worlds, new characters, all those things. So I think that people take any criticism of, I mean, this is like their baby. They don't want to hear anything bad about it. But I will assure you guys, like I had one gentleman tell me that it's really getting tough for him to watch me struggle trying to stay optimistic on this series. And I'm like, man, I don't read anything for 4,000 pages if I'm not into it. I have no problems walking away with it. I like way more than I dislike about Malazan. I'm going to talk about those things that bother me in a spoiler review. And the first half of this book one, oh man, I was like this again. But then book two was incredible, and I can go ahead and tell you guys now, book three pretty damn good. So I've got about just the last book here, book four left. So about a quarter of the book left, guys, and I'm having a great time with it. If he sticks the landing, this is going to be my favorite one in this series so far, which is amazing because I was pissed off when I started reading it. But that seems to be par for the course with the Malazan book, and I think that's what gets a lot of the ire from the diehards there. But hey, we're going to learn to live, we're going to learn to coexist together in harmony. I'll be damned if we're not going to do it. And that's what we got to try to do with dinosaurs, right? We got to learn to coexist. Well, not quite yet. We're talking about the first Jurassic Park, the original. This is the Folio Society edition, which is absolutely amazing. Thank you, Lockie. I started reading this because while I was reading Malazan, sometimes I like to, take a quick little break if things were getting cloudy. But the thing was, that wasn't the problem here. The problem was I hadn't recorded my spoiler talk part one yet. And I like to do that before I begin the second half of the book because I don't like that to influence how I feel. So I went to work that day and I didn't bring my Joe Abercrombie with me. All I had with me was my Kindle. So I said, you know what, I'll go ahead and start Jurassic Park, I guess, because if I went into Poppy War while I'm trying to be Malazan, it wouldn't end well for it. So yeah, why not? Let's start a sixth book at the same time, Mike. Why not start, this one's coming this month anyway. And guys, if you know anything about Jurassic Park, this is an incredibly awesome and quick read. I mean, I've been reading it on the side. I'm halfway done with it already because it's just so good. And I can't wait to talk about that one for our Crichton reread for the month of August. Lots of people are reading it for the first time in the Discord, and I'm having a blast listening to reactions. A lot of people that have no idea how different it is from the movie, and I think this is very much like The Shining of the summer blockbuster, in that the movie and the book are both good, but very, very different. So if you haven't read Jurassic Park, guys, I encourage the hell out of you to pick it up if you can, man. I say if you can afford the coin, pick up this Folio Society edition because it is absolutely amazing. It's like textured dinosaur skin. Like I keep telling people, I have my kids convinced that is actually dino DNA. So yes, we are coming into a lot of money here soon. So let's move along, guys. What am I going to read? Well, obviously, I'm going to finish Midnight Tides and Jurassic Park. Probably, at least I'll be finishing Midnight Tides this weekend because I've got to know how it ends. Because where it's at right now, guys, the Sengar family storyline is just straight fire. Best I've read in the series so far, so I can't wait to see how that ends. And then, like I said, Jurassic Park, probably right after that. Here's the thing with Poppy War, guys. I think that might end up being a victim of the numbers game because in September, I have a theme, which is Sci-Fi September. In October, I have Spooky Season. So I'm not thinking, because I got so just smacked all at once with an arc and a new Stephen King book and a Malazan read along, all that stuff, I just didn't have time to get to Poppy War this month. So I don't want anybody thinking, oh, you're hating Poppy War. I'm definitely not DNFing it. I'm just saying I think it's just a victim of the numbers game right now. I'm not going to be able to pick it back up until November. That's when I'm going to be able to read The Burning God. I'm about halfway through Dragon Republic. So it's one of those things, if I find some downtime during Sci-Fi September and Spooky Season, I might, pick it back up then. But for now, it's on a temporary hold. It is definitely not a DNF. I'm liking the book just fine. It's just it's a numbers game because we are doing, I do have a review here and we are doing another read along here on the Discord here pretty soon. So after I finish those, obviously, guys, this is going to be the priority. The only reason that this didn't take priority is because I had a read-along and a new Stephen King book all in the same time. And people are like, well, why didn't you pick it up instead of Jurassic Park? Because I don't like to read two fantasy books at the same time, guys. I feel like it really... not that I feel like this would bog me down because, this is my favorite fantasy series. I'm just saying... I don't know. I just don't like to do that. I like to stagger my genres. So that's why I did that. So I'll be doing that after I finish Jurassic Park. And then it's the channel, not a channel read along. It is just someone on the Discord has put this together, Mr. Echo, and that is Blood Meridian by Cormac McCarthy. It's only the second Cormac McCarthy book I've ever read. And I've heard so many mixed things about this. Some people say it's amazing. Stephen King even references it in Billy Summers. It's kind of funny. It's almost like he knew. You looking around here, Steve? You in here? But I doubt it. He wouldn't have very many interesting things to learn from me. But some people love it, and some people absolutely despise it. And I've heard it's a very, very dense read. I'm like, great! Just what you want after a Malazan book. It's a very, very dense read, right? But I'm excited about it because it's fun to talk about these things with people. And I say there's a good at least 20 people or so, it seems like, are going to be doing it on the Discord. So guys, join the Discord if you haven't yet. We do all kinds of read-alongs on there. I love it. There's people who do complete read-alongs without me. That means I don't have to do anything. They just kind of just have a place to talk about it. They're doing like Prince and Nothing on there right now. They're doing Black Company on there right now. They're doing a Wheel of Time reread on there. So there's all kinds of things that I don't do on the channel that you can come on the Discord, guys, and do. And there is my elevator pitch for the Discord. But that's kind of everything that's going on with I'm going to read right now. Death Note and Berserk, obviously, while this month is so heavy, those are kind of taking a back seat right now. But let's get into this week on the channel. And something I've been getting a lot of lately is, where's all the reviews, bro? You call yourself Mike's Book Reviews, but I don't ever see any book reviews, because I did explain during that stretch there where I felt like I was putting out some fluffy content. It's going to happen from time to time. But, one guy said, you've only put out 3 reviews between, this last month plus. And I was like, go back and look. And on this whole history of this channel, I've usually done 1 book review per week. So what is that, 4 per month? I did 4 book reviews this week, so maybe that'll appease the masses here. 4 very different types of reviews, because the Billy Summers review was really just going to be like I did with Later, where it was just kind of like my instant thoughts and reaction. And I was like, no, I'll just go ahead and do the whole review, like I really do, non-spoiler. And it's that way I could talk about everything I wanted to talk about. And I did do that review. And like I said, not thumbs down as much as I thought. But again, I hope that didn't discourage anybody from reading it, because like I always say, there's a lot of people who've told me that they don't think it's as big a deal as I made of it. I don't think I made a big deal of it. It was just one of those things where I was like, God, it takes me out of it every time he does this. And it really just sounded like someone who was just like, kept saying that they were over their ex, but kept talking about their ex, that type of friend. That's kind of what it seemed like to me. So minor criticism. It didn't really change the story at all, just like it wouldn't have changed the story if they weren't there. So is what it is. Then I finally finally put off my long-delayed Fall of Hyperion review. And that was the comment that I read in the cold opening there. Yeah, it was a book that I said was a big disappointment for me, but I also kind of played it both ways. I hedged a little bit saying it's a very, very good book. It just disappointed me because it wasn't what I wanted. And yeah, I know authors don't owe me. It gets a lot of comments like that. Authors don't owe you anything. I don't really think that I said that they did. I will always say that, these are my opinions, and if you have different ones, it's awesome. That's why I want to talk to you about it. I want to talk to you people about these things. That's why I do this, So, yeah, I was very disappointed in it, but Dan Simmons is a baller-ass writer. He's awesome. He's spectacular. I just didn't like the narrative decision in that. It didn't mean that the book was poorly written or that it wasn't a good book or didn't help build that universe. It just wasn't quite what I was looking for, so I explained those reasons why and why I delayed that review for so long, because I felt like I was starting to discourage others who were going to read it, and I never ever do that, guys. Something I do on this channel. I give my opinion, but I always encourage you, please read it and decide for yourself. I hear people all the time, well, I was going to read this book, but then blank big booktuber said it wasn't any good, so I decided not. Man, that's like only watching a movie based off of a Rotten Tomatoes score. Don't do that, man. Make up your own mind. I always will encourage that, and I hope that that's coming across in a lot of those reviews. And then I did my Death Note Part 1, but manga don't count apparently. But to me they do, and I felt like I had a lot to talk about with Death Note. It's a series I had heard a lot about over the years, and who could have guessed that this really, really super popular thing that transcends the genre was really, really good, and really good it is. And I talked about those reasons why, and what I thought. I had some spoilers at the end of that of what I thought about all the arcs in the first 6 volumes of that series, and I'll be continuing that and Berserk here pretty soon. And then, yes, I did my Midnight Tide spoiler talk number 1. Usually I wait a few days. I did that the day I finished book 2, or actually not the day I finished book 2, because I finished book 2. Look, I couldn't sleep one night, so I was up until like 2 a.m. reading it. And I didn't have time to do it then because I was like, I got to go to work in like 3 hours. What are you doing right now? But so I went to work, and like I said, I didn't start reading book 3 in there because I didn't want to let that affect how I was going to say. So I recorded the spoiler talk that night. So it was like less than a 24-hour turnaround. I usually wait a few days to let everything kind of marinate a little bit. But you can tell I was very excited to talk about it. And I again, it's one of those things that people said, "Oh, this might be your funniest one." And I'm like, "Are you laughing at me or with me?" Because I didn't think I was very funny in it, but hey, it is what it is, right? But yeah, I guess if it didn't come across that I am really, really enjoying it, I guess I need to do a better job of emphasizing that. I mean, I guess I gotta like hold people's hand and tell them I'm really liking this, because I am really liking Midnight Tides quite a bit. And I apologize if that's not coming across in those videos. When you do a spoiler talk like that, you're really getting into the nitty gritty. You're going to talk about both the things that you're liking and things that are completely over your head. And like I said, with Malazan, I like to just get my drink and just watch those things sail over my head because it's going to happen. How about a little bit of next week plans, guys? I know I did not get to my off the books this week, which was going to be on keto, the whole lifestyle change, and basically how it worked for us. I kind of think, because I get a lot of questions about that, but I'm not going to regurgitate everything I said last week, guys. You know why I'm doing this at this point. I just ran out of time. I didn't get a chance to do that this week. I didn't expect to do the Malazan spoiler talk so early, so I just kind of flipped those. So I'll be doing that early this week. I can't wait to talk to you guys about it because, like I said, it changed my life, and I want to encourage others to listen with an open mind if they've been curious about it, because there's so much misinformation out there. And I want to talk about not only the health benefits, but the mental benefits of it, because that is the biggest thing for me. It has helped change my life a lot. I could have never done this channel and listened to some of the ridiculous things that people say to me and not just be like, screw this, and deleted my channel if I never went to keto. Completely changed my attitude about everything. And I want to talk about those reasons why in detail. And things I'm going to talk about in detail, well, I'm going to talk about nothing in detail, because we're doing another Talk About Nothing, which I'm calling like this video podcast series. I can't come up with a better name, guys. Hey, full disclosure, I love Seinfeld, the show about nothing. Well, this podcast is where we talk about nothing, meaning that we turn the microphone on and we just talk and see where the conversation leads us. We don't have any talking points. We don't talk beforehand about what we're going to speak about. We just say, hey, meet me at this time with a microphone, and we're going to talk. And I'm going to be talking to my favorite booktuber, and that, of course, is Dr. Philip Chase. I cannot wait to do this. We've been talking about doing this for a while. I went on his channel a couple times. I've had him here for Malazan before. But I said, I just want to get us together for a couple of hours and just see what happens. So I hope you guys continue to like those long conversations I'm having with other content creators, because I love doing them. And if you guys are enjoying it, well, that's just even better. I love doing what the people love, right? So I can't wait to. And you guys, you want to just hear me just sound like a complete like third grader talking to a college professor? This is going to be it, because I feel dumber every time I talk with Philip. And I even talk like that when I talk with Philip. But hey, just the most genuine, friendliest guy. It's not an act, you guys. He really is just that nice. And I cannot wait to talk to him about anything and everything. I don't know. Who knows what we'll talk about. But I'm sure books might come up more times than not. And then, guys, I will be doing my book haul for the month of July, which is basically going to be the birthday book haul. And I had to keep a list to keep all this stuff together, because you guys are always generous to me. But you were even more generous for the big number 43 here, and I was completely blown away by some of the stuff that you guys sent me again. And I cannot express the love I have for you guys. Not just because you do this, because you have hearts that big that you think about someone else in that kind of manner. And I mean, no matter how big or how small it is, it takes some really selflessness to do that for someone else, and I really do appreciate it, and I hope that gets across when I do those book haul videos. And I can't wait to do this one, guys, because there's so much cool stuff that I want to talk to you guys about. If you follow me on Instagram or on the Discord, you've probably seen some of the surprises, but if not, I can't wait to show them some of them to you. Some of them I'm just too excited about to keep a secret, and I want to talk about them. And then, guys, have you missed Into the Multiverse? I hope you have, because I'm bringing it back this month. Finally, with the oft-delayed Dark Tower 3, The Wastelands. We're going to go back on the path of the beam and talk about Blaine, the Pain, the Insane Monotrain. I love talking about Blaine, because that is the truth. I cannot wait to get into this, guys, because I think that what I said before is I felt like in my memory, Drawing to the 3 was my favorite of the Dark Tower. But Wastelands was really close. So did that change on this reread? Well, we will talk about it sometime next week. And then just kind of like a quick little one-off here, guys. I'm going to be doing my Sci-Fi September kind of announcement. And it's not really like anything huge. Again, if you're on the Discord, you already know what these books are. What I want to do is just focus on some science fiction this month, since I had to, basically drop most of my plans that I had for this year because of moving up that Malazan read-along. I want to talk about what I'm going to be doing that month. And really, it's not just what I'm going to be reading. I have like 5 books planned that I want to read, science fiction books I want to read in September. But I'm also going to talk about some of the videos I'm going to be doing for the month that might not be something that I'm reading. So I think there's plenty to be excited about. If you are a fan of science fiction, and if you love fantasy, I don't feel like it's really that far away. Replace your swords with your laser beams, and you're ready to go, right? Replace your horse with a spaceship. We're good. We're good. You can make this work, and we're going to talk about those things. I hope I'm doing that a little early, because in case anyone wants to join me and they want to get those books, I think that would be a great idea. Kind of like what I did with Fright Fest last year in October. And guys, that's all I got for book stuff, but there are some movie and TV things I want to shout at you about here. Suicide Squad was a lot of fun. It really was, just as I expected. It was as James Gunny as anything James Gunn has done yet. Completely flopped at the box office, though. And look, I'm definitely not making excuses for it, because like I have said, I feel like Warner Brothers made their bed. They never listen to the fans at all. So no one trusts them. No one wants to watch their movies, even when they're good. I mean, you think about Shazam. You think about the Suicide Squad. 2 movies that had great reviews. And no one saw it because they don't trust them anymore. The most positive feedback they had, regardless of how you felt about it, the most positive feedback they have gotten in the last decade, since Dark Knight ended, was the Snyder Cut of Justice League. And immediately, in the middle of that fervor, they make this big article about how it's over and they're doing this and they're bringing in J.J. Abrams. So, hey, Warner Brothers, you made your bed, and that's why no one's going to see your movies anymore. Now, I don't know how much this stuff plays in. We are living in a new time here. To me, this is like still counting Nielsen ratings as a reason. When everybody watches everything streaming, or they binge watch things now, or they watch them on their TiVo. No one watches live TV very much anymore. So with movies, now when you're playing into, okay, it had a digital release on the same day as the theater, and the head of HBO Max, I don't recall his name, said that it is the second most viewed thing on opening week that they've ever had on their server. I don't know how much that plays into it, how happy that makes the big heads at Warner Brothers. I have no idea. I feel terrible for James Gunn, because this guy deserves all the success in the world, and I think what this movie did was prove he's a great filmmaker. He's not just just sucking at the Marvel teat. He actually is quality at what he does, and I felt bad. I felt bad. I really wish that this had been a super success, because I mean, just about everybody I've talked to that watched it really did enjoy it, and I kind of felt bad for Idris Elba. This guy just seems to be box office poison. I mean, it seems like everybody loves him, but any movie that he's like the headliner of just seems to do really bad, and I don't think that's a detriment really to him. It's just I don't know. Take that for what you will, guys. I'm still mad about Dark Tower. But we watched Tenet, finally. The kids were gone, and we said, hey, let's catch up on some movies. We watched The Suicide Squad, and then we watched Tenet. And I love Christopher Nolan. He's right there with Denny V and right there with Quentin Tarantino as automatic directors. No matter what they put out, I don't need to hear another. Nope, stop talking. Take my money. I'm going to watch it. Now, Tenet, obviously, with The Virus That Shall Not Be Named. I did not get to see it in the theater. And it just kind of, the Blu-ray just kind of sat here for like a year. Has it been a year? It almost feels like it's been a year at least. But we decided to go ahead and watch it. And guys, I don't want to say that this movie was convoluted. I think maybe I just wasn't smart enough for it. It really felt like Malazan the movie. And like times where you just like stop, scratch your head and say, maybe I'm not smart enough for this, because yeah, there was a lot of neat ideas. I just don't know if the execution was made a way where like anybody that didn't have a PhD could understand it. I don't know. The thing was, is like my wife and I, and my wife's much smarter than me. She's a teacher, obviously. She was confused too, and I was like, okay, great. I thought it was just me. I was just being stupid. It was something like blatantly obvious. So we watched one of those explained videos that they have kind of on YouTube. Tenet Explained. We were more confused after we watched that. So I didn't have the audio issues that everybody else did, but we watched it with subtitles. Guys, we watch everything with subtitles because we have kids and we're just used to it now, and we used to never being able to hear anything. So I don't know if there's audio issues where everybody said like you couldn't understand it. They do have masks on. Everybody has accents and things like that. So I could see how seeing that in the theater might have been a little frustrating, but I didn't feel like the music was louder than the dialogue or anything. I don't know. Maybe that was. I don't know. That was just my experience. But as far as that movie goes, Nolan got nothing but respect for him. Definitely not making excuses. I think this one just might have. I appreciate that he doesn't feel like he's not gonna hold your hand. I appreciate that. I do wish that more directors had the courage to do that. I just wish this also came with like a documentary explaining everything that just happened in your movie. So one thing about it is it did make me feel a little more positive about Robert Pattinson. I haven't seen him in a lot of movies outside of you know what. And hey, if he's good enough an actor for Nolan, then hey, I guess he's good enough to be Batman. I don't know. We'll see. I'm not optimistic about that Batman movie, but that's a whole nother conversation. How about another conversation? Let's talk about The Lost World, Jurassic Park. Now, as you know, I'm reading Jurassic Park right now, and so my kid was excited we get to watch the movie again for the 400th time. He's never watched the sequels. I mean, he's watched Jurassic World, but he's never watched Lost World and Jurassic Park 3. And you're probably saying, like, well, good. But, he's 9, and all he needs is dinosaurs, and he's going to be happy. We watched Lost World, and guys, this is the first time I've watched it since the 90s. And I don't know, maybe just time was a healer, but it is not nearly as bad as the reputation it has. Yeah, it doesn't touch the first. A lot of movies don't touch the first. The 4 other Jurassic Park movies don't touch the first combined. Okay, the first is an all-time classic. It's a landmark of cinematic achievement. I never expect anything to touch Jurassic Park. It's one of the greatest movies ever made. Okay, so I'm not going to hold up to that measuring stick. But as far as like sequels go, yeah, I wish they could have got the original cast back and all that. Jeff Goldblum's always great. There's a couple things about it. Like in my memory, what made me really just like facepalm while watching that movie was when the girl kicks the raptor in the face. That was just like ridiculous because they said this whole movie establishing these raptors are just super smart and they were just almost like cartoon bad a couple of times in this. And when that happened, I was like, you know what? It's bad, but it's no more than like your average MCU gag, and everybody laughs at that. I don't know. I think maybe the last, like the extra 4th act they kind of put into the movie might have been a little weird. But again, for the most part, it's a fine movie. It's nothing that's going to be like on constant rotation. But you know what? My kids loved it. My 6-year-old bawled like a baby when the T-Rex ate the dog. But outside of that, hey, they enjoyed it. My kid was talking about this morning, like he just kind of joking around. He came up to me this morning. He's like, "There's a dinosaur in our backyard," So he enjoyed it. In my opinion, guys, if the kids like the movie with the dinosaurs in it, well, then you know what? It's done its job. So I feel like I've really been hard on that movie over the last 20 years without watching it again. So hey, cool. Like I said, maybe time is just a healer on that one. I don't know. curbed expectations can help things. Starting to run long here, so I just want to talk about Lisey's story real fast on Apple TV. We did finish that this weekend as well, so it was just kind of catch-up weekend for us. And guys, Lisey's story was magnificent. I think that this is one of the best Stephen King adaptations, amazingly shot and wonderfully acted. Julianne Moore and Clive Owen absolutely crush in this movie. Their acting is superb. It's just amazing what they're doing together. I think that this is the first time I think they work together in Children of Men also. So obviously I feel like they know each other. They have a little bit of chemistry there. But they were both just spectacular on this show. And the cinematography on this is just magnificent. That's one thing I'll say about Apple TV. They don't have a lot of content on there. You know, they have originals, but they don't have like a library really like the other streaming services, and that's why I feel like they're getting crushed. But I feel like they're making less original content to really make it beautiful, and that show is absolutely just stunning to look at. So watch it on the biggest and loudest TV screen that you can. But yeah, I liked it better than the book, you guys, and I think that's because you did have Stephen King writing the television show, and I feel like, you know, 15 years removed from writing that book, he can say, okay, here's what worked, what didn't work, and also I can put it into a narrative structure that's more easily understood in this medium than I did in the book, and I think that really fixed all the problems that I had with the book. So I think it was wonderful. I hope you guys will check it out. Again, definitely one of the best Stephen King adaptations ever, and that's, you think, well, you know, he's never had any really good movies. He's had a lot of good movies, guys. He really has. We think about those bad ones a lot because there's been more bad than there has good. But this is definitely up there with something like a Gerald's Game, where like a made for a streaming service that's really, really just better than we ever thought we'd get. So I recommend it to you guys. I was going to talk about Vampire Chronicles on AMC, but I ran out of time, so maybe I'll move that to next week, guys, because this one's, I don't like to keep these videos that long. But hey, I hope you guys had an awesome week. I hope you guys are still with me on the Malazan read along, or maybe you're going to join me on the Blood Meridian one. That will be a lot of fun because it's a book that I've heard is absolutely not fun, but we'll talk about it there. You guys have an awesome week, and make sure you drop in the comments and let me know what you are reading, what you're watching, what you're listening to, what you're playing, all of the above, and I will talk to you there. Have an awesome weekend.